intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of any individuals or organizations mentioned. Statements made about public figures or entities are based on publicly available information and are not intended to harm or defame any person or business. This show relies on fair use of social media posts, which are presented in good faith for the purpose of commentary and criticism. Viewers and listeners are advised to form their own opinions. It's Circle Back here on the Circles Off channel. It's part of the Hammer Betting Network and presented by Kalshi. This is the show where we cover the latest and greatest stories from gambling Twitter. And gambling Twitter was in an absolute frenzy for our lead-off topic on this show today. But before we get there, let's introduce the cast for today. I am your host on Circle Back, Jacob Gramegna. I am a creator and producer also with the Hammer Betting Network. The CEO of the Hammer Betting Network is right here, professional sports bettor Rob Pizzola. We have in the middle, Kirk Evans, seasoned NBA and WNBA bettor. And then on the left, Geoff, enjoying the Chargers' awesome start to the season. We thought you would be in Chargers gear for today, but going with the Ryder Cup stuff.
Yeah, it's Ryder Cup week. It's the best week in golf. It's like the longest week because it doesn't start until Friday.
Yeah.
Well, I got Europe, plus 155, plus 160, plus 170. I think it's even, so I'll take the juice. I know the Sloan nerds, chief nerds, home field advantage, more important than anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care about rich Long Island kids and Wall Street bootlickers paying to get in there. They don't scare me enough to not take the plus 170 available over at FanDuel.
Yeah, I hear you.
I support both sides. I want great golf.
Yep.
If the U.S. wins.
I was trying to figure out the outfit. This is a Europe shirt.
Yeah, this is from Rome.
Yeah, he just wants a good time.
Just great golf. If you want to fall down half a flight of stairs this week, late in the week, so you can get a lie in bed all week and not be bugged by the kids and the wife, that's a suggestion. This is an event maybe worthy of that.
You got to plan the event, which is that's going to happen at. You got to go do a sporting event.
I
someday
actually
this week.
miscalculation. I should have been getting a vasectomy on Thursday.
You know, I was thinking about this today. So for people that don't know, you don't know the setup that we have here at our Hammer Studios, there's another show that's happening across the hall, Hammer Daily, and it's not completely soundproof, that studio. So we got to be really quiet. Geoff coming in with Ryder Cup happening this week, Chargers winning another game today, and having to be quiet. And I can almost feel Jason in the other room just panicking that Geoff is going to be too loud. It's got to be tough for you to control your emotions before the show.
I actually just wanted to walk into the studio and just yell, "Bolt the fuck up, Jason." Because he's sometimes he's got to loosen up a little, I think.
I'm with you.
So I feel like it would actually serve a good purpose. It would just loosen him up a little. I think it'd be good
sometimes for this show if there was.
Yeah, I know, but he's so I whisper and he's
now.
texting.
It's changing.
So
now.
I'm afraid to even he's very locked in, and I don't want to unlock him.
I heard a lot of laughter coming from that studio today, so I think that there's maybe because it takes time whenever you're hosting something new. It takes a little bit to get into it, to feel the flow. But yeah, naturally, he's as big a clown as I know. So yeah, I think you doing that might have actually, brought something out of him in that type of situation. Not that I would suggest you do that going forwards. He might also panic on air at the exact same time. It's very possible.
All right, let's jump into our first topic today, everyone. It might be the biggest topic on gambling Twitter, and that was one of the worst beats in NFL history. Some say it is the worst, but it definitely is a Hall of Fame bad beat. We had the Eagles and the Rams. Not only were the Rams up, I think it was 21-0. Not only were the Rams up 26-7, they had a field goal late to win the game. But if the field goal had missed, they would have covered the spread. If the field goal was good, they would have covered the spread. It was a 1-point game with the Eagles up by 1. The Rams attempt a field goal. It is blocked. It is run all the way back by a defensive lineman to the house to cover the spread for the Philadelphia Eagles. BR Betting said Hall of Fame worst beat in history. Barstool Sports said Rams plus 3.5 is an all-time bad beat. And Rob, with his classic, we wager hard-earned real dollars on these games. That wasn't the only
No.
I will maybe not go as far as call it a bad beat, but like crazy finish. Like the Browns covered late and ended up winning, and then the Jets like miracle comeback to even cover, ended up still losing. I was thankfully on the right side of both those, or else I would have been tilted as well. So that was a fun afternoon. But yeah, an unreal bad beat. Rob, did you have action on this one? What was your reaction?
So I did not have the Rams, thankfully. I said some prayers last night. Thank God for not being on that side. This is not, in my opinion, like just a bad beat. This is like a career-altering beat. This will affect your psyche for a very long time. Like I'm not exaggerating. I've been there before. The worst that I can remember, and I have like a selective memory. As sports bettors, we probably suffered so many bad beats. But I think a few years ago, it might have been back-to-back weeks where I had the team that was plus 3.5 or plus 4 going into overtime in the NFL, and the first possession happened, which should have been the other team just driving for a field goal, and the other team drove for a touchdown in both cases for me to lose.
This was before the rule change.
That was before the overtime rules now. So that felt like terrible because your team gets the ball first, they punt, you're like, I'm in the clear now, just got to dodge a touchdown. One of them was Dallas, New England. I'll never forget that. But like these are the ones that make you lay in bed at night and you just like you literally can't fall asleep. Like it's the beat is escalated. Like it's so much worse because the right play is to just not return it for a touch. The game is literally over at this. You've blocked the kick by returning it.
Like someone could catch you.
Someone could catch you, knock the ball. I mean, it's not going to happen, but it's like a fall on the ball, game is dead. Didn't happen. I was like, again, no action on the game, stunned in real time watching it, and immediately just thought of all the Suma, Austin, I know you, Kirk, Hitman, like all the people I know.
Yeah, but you know Jacob.
Did Jacob bet the Eagles?
I thought he just said he was on the right side of
No,
the Browns.
I was for the Browns and the Jets,
Sorry.
but I had no action on this one.
There's some squares
Thankfully.
out there.
Yeah.
That got to keep their account going.
Yeah, I mean, but Geoff, like this one, it was 26-7 for the Rams.
So I got a text late last night of my buddy says his reaction to this game was, if you watch the replay, just keep an eye on 47, and that's why he believes psyops exist. I didn't even watch the Instagram reel he sent me, but just from the still footage, the guy like doesn't move. He stays still the whole time or something on the Rams.
Maybe like wrong snap count. Something along. Like, there's lots of rationale as to why an O-lineman wouldn't move.
He's up. He's in position. He's just like staring. He's looking for the ball forward. He doesn't.
Sorry, which player is that?
47 on the Rams. He's like at the center-ish area, right?
Center, left guard, right guard, somewhere in the interior.
Yeah, right at the front. The guy like first one in there.
Okay, and just didn't move.
I don't know. I didn't watch the clip, but like Instagram's.
Oh yeah,
like,
they're gonna do what they gotta do to run with it.
Like this guy is like the psyop that was needed for this moment.
I would say this was the most unique bad beat of my life because not only was this just completely insane, for whatever reason. So I follow Hitman, like I subscribe to him, so that's why I was on this game. But I'm not really the one clicking it. Generally, that's my partner. So for whatever reason, I remembered that my partner told me Hitman released Rams, but we didn't get any.
Okay.
So I wasn't sweating the game at all.
Right.
I was like, oh, all right. Like I generally cheer for Hitman. We talk, we're friendly.
Yeah.
But I'm not really cheering. My buddy's a really big Eagles fan. Not really. And then after it happened, I text my partner saying, we didn't get the Rams, right? He goes, no, we lost that.
Yeah.
So it was like, kind of lessens the blow because I'd already seen it and then I was finding out. But yeah, there's been, well, I think we'll get into it, that there are no such things as bad beats. Totally disagree. This is absolutely a bad beat.
So we'll segue into that part of the conversation here because people are, again, calling this like one of the worst beats of all time. Let us know in the chat right now if you're watching live any other bad beats you can remember. Maybe we can reminisce about some of the the best and worst of all time. But somebody who's been on this channel and appeared on the Friday show is China Maniac, NFL bettor. And this is what he had to say about the situation. This was a double down because he said the same thing yesterday. He just posted this like pretty much right before the show, or a few hours before the show today. He says, bad beat culture needs to go. This one goes out to all you losers for complaining about losing a point spread yesterday on the last play of a game. So I'll get your thoughts on this. I kind of want to start off on this, like, because obviously bad beats, like, they don't really, it's just a made up term. Like, it's either the bet wins or it loses, and like what constitutes a bad beat. Like, I would agree, like, your team being up 21-0 and then losing and not covering the spread, that would suck, but I wouldn't necessarily call that bad beat. I think a bad beat is when the last play of the game, or close to the last play of the game, when a player does something they shouldn't do and that costs you the spread. The right play in this setting was to fall on the ball because the game is over, like you said. If the player does what you would constitute as the right thing in the game, you don't lose. I remember, was it a couple seasons ago? I think I remember like a Zay Flowers play where he could have kneeled to ice a game, but instead ran into the end zone for like a 50-yard run. That's a bad beat, in my opinion, as well. What do you think, Rob?
I mean, it's tough to define it, but like, I disagree with China here. I think, listen, it can get tiresome to listen to people complain about bad beats that maybe aren't bad beats, and I can understand where he's coming from. Like being ahead in the fourth quarter on your bet, other team scores a touchdown late. Like, that's not a bad beat. Backdoor covers, those aren't bad beats. This one was, listen, I'm not in the lab like Simon Hunter running simulations on every game and the probabilities, but I can tell you that this was a 99.9% cover. For on that play, when that ball was snapped, it was upwards of 99.9% that the Rams would cover the game. And they did that. That's the only way it can lose. And a block is such a low percentage play. Block return for a touchdown when you don't even need to return it for a touchdown, even lower. So that, I think for me, like, I define a bad beat as, I don't want to give an exact number, but like a 99% probability to win at some point, your bet at any point, and it doesn't end up winning. To me, that's a bad beat.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of a mix of what both of you are saying in my head of like, it's something extraordinary. So like a player doing something that like goes against their team and a really high percentage. Because to me, if you're a 99% chance to win a game and it's the second quarter and you're up like 30 and you end up losing, like that's not really a bad beat. To me, it's obviously, it hurts more than a normal game, but like that's still kind of it's not extraordinary. It's just like in the course of a game, you ended up losing, a team ended up coming back, even though you were really likely to win.
Right.
But this is just so absurd that, one, it was kicked, which is so unlikely. Then two, the guy ran it back. So yeah, and I think 99.9 is like really low here. Like I would
it exceeds that number.
Yeah, like way higher than that. So
it really does. But
like this wasn't 1 in 1,000. This was probably 1 in like 50,000, 1 in 100,000.
I'll bring this up because I know Ian McMillan is a Falcons fan and listens to the show, so I think this is a good example. But Patriots-Falcons Super Bowl, 28-3. Like, would you define that as a bad beat, losing the Falcons?
Definitely not.
No.
As like a Falcons fan, yes. As like a bettor, maybe less so.
But if I had Falcons like preseason to win the Super Bowl and I watched all season and got there, I'd feel a lot worse about something like that. I think it's a very nuanced discussion because the amount of time I invested into that bet and then losing it like that would be, I could not classify that as anything other than a pretty horrific beat, a pretty bad beat at that point.
I agree with what sort of everything that's been said here. I think China's amazing, and I get like if you're a pro, like bad beat culture, like it's just a water finds its level.
100%. And for a volume props bettor as well, like he probably experiences like a dozen of these every week.
So again, like being on the internet, it must be like so tilting after a moment like that when that's how you feel. And then he's waking up this morning and he's seeing more of it. And he's getting angrier. And I've been there. Trust me, thumbs flying. That being said, he might hate what I'm about to say. I think bad beat culture like even extends a little bit to the sense of let's say the Chiefs and the Giants were tied last night, and the Giants only needed an extra point to win.
Yeah.
Like their kicker
They're not
got
a kicker.
hurt
Yeah.
in pregame.
Yeah.
That's a bad, to me, that's a bad beat.
I would agree with
Someone
that.
like gets the shits and can't play when a superstar or something like you've
Lamar
got
runs to the locker room to take a shit against the Cleveland Browns on Monday Night Football. You remember that?
Yeah.
But he ended up coming back and winning the game.
I'm
but
just saying, like, at a moment, like, I think bad beats can, like, extend to the point where I know they shouldn't, like, have ever won the game, but, like, you're a Florida, California-based team and you get, like, the coldest game in the history of the world. Yeah. I think that's even, like, potentially on the scale of, it's not like final second.
A better can account for that, like weather beforehand,
yeah,
right?
sorry, but I mean, like, bad beat even in, like, other ways. You get in a car accident, like things like bad beats they're all over the
I
place.
think kicker getting hurt in pregame and like that resulting in you losing is a way worse beat than Atlanta Super Bowl, because again, Atlanta Super Bowl is 28-3, but it's a Super Bowl.
But
Other
it's
teams
played
are
on
going to
the
try to win.
field.
Like, that's part of the game. Versus like you couldn't possibly have expected the kicker to get hurt in pregame.
I agree. I don't know. Like, I don't know that you can ever come up with a universal definition. The one thing I will agree with China on is I think there is a bad beat culture, and it's extended to things that truly aren't bad beats. You know, like how many
but we see this
a
all the
strikeout
time.
prop at 3.5 and getting hooked.
Yeah, getting
at
hooked.
4.
That's not a bad beat.
That's not a bad
This
beat.
shouldn't be like the thing I go to, but like I'm just going to go to it and we can drop it. Like I see people like say something is like anti-Semitic that isn't anti-Semitic,
Right.
and all that does is like it's like really fucking tilting and annoying.
It kind of
Because it just doesn't
Keeps
help
the
anything.
convo go. Agreed.
And then it makes real things get diminished. So
it
it's
dilutes
all-
it and diminishes the
So,
value.
so there's a dilution of like bad
Yes.
beat.
Yeah.
But
We
that
can
doesn't
all
mean that
agree.
I agree, a bit of an odd comparison, but I agree in the sense of like just because people overstate it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yes.
There are bad beats, but people way over.
Well, I think China's reaction is not to. I think this is like it's compounding, right? Like this is the spark.
I'm pretty sure yesterday he was pretty specific to this game.
No, I understand, but like it builds up over time, right?
Yeah.
You don't just go off like that's a horrendous way to lose a game. You don't just go off on that one thing. It's the building up over time.
The only other thing I want to say about, because this wasn't the tweet I saw, like China mentioned the 53% winners win 53% of the time and the 50% winners win 50% of the time in a different tweet. Like I actually really disagree with him there of like, I agree if you're a volume player, that's kind of how it's going to go. But like a lot of pros win a lot of their money in very short, small, like crazy opportunities. So like if you get an 1,000 to 1 bet that turns out to be like 30%, you know, that can be a massive swing in your life if that hits. Obviously, like you'll never collect that EV again. So even for people who do this to really try win, there are small things that can really result in big changes. So I don't agree with him there.
We got to move on to our next topic, but I do want to get the chat involved for just a second here because a couple of them brought up some bad beat situations they've had in the past. So a couple golf ones kind of came up here. First of all, I was told to ask Geoff about the DJ 3-putt at Chambers.
It's a 3-putt, and it's DJ, and he hadn't won a major yet.
Yeah.
And it was Chambers, and that place was like Mars, the greens. It sucked, but like I see 3-putts every single round in golf, even from like 12 feet, let alone like compounding of a moment. To me, a bad beat in golf is, well, I think like you stripe one, it's perfect, and it like hits a sprinkler head like on the fringe, and just like trampolines like up in the air. That is what I would consider.
What about when
a bad beat?
When DJ got flagged for hitting out of the bunker?
Oh my God!
That was Cohen's wedding.
Yeah, we were at a wedding that night. We were watching. It was like WrestleMania or SummerSlam.
He was
It was
watching
like a tiny
SummerSlam
pocket
on
of
his
sand.
phone. Someone who we put at our table was watching SummerSlam on their phone. DJ was losing Chambers Bay,
But it was like some sand that
yeah, it was.
And he grounded his club.
Yeah,
right?
he grounded his. That was
Like
so.
that's bad beat.
And that
a
was
bad
early
beat.
DJ. That was like 40 to 1 DJ.
Yeah. Like to me, that's I can almost. It
was a waist bunker.
whether or not it was a bad beat by the ability to go to sleep. after that happened. I mean, I feel very strongly about that.
Another one, Harper Massey says, Ravens vs. Browns 2020, Jarvis Landry safety with no time left to blow a cover after laterals. So
yes.
That's in the realm of possibilities.
Like that's in the back of your head
obviously it's
always.
horrific.
Always when you're watching a game and it's late and you're like, shit, like, is there a lateral play they could return that? That's way more likely than a block
there's like
catch.
so many examples of that.
They know they've got to.
The
Oh
worst is when you know the team is going to take a safety because it makes the most sense for. Like I've seen games end like that where the team doesn't want to punt.
Yeah.
So they just run around, take a safety, and it affects the points.
It's one thing if they're backed up. It's when they like run 30 yards to kill 4 more seconds to then take that safety.
But if it's
It is
the
a smart
smartest
play.
move in the
Play.
grand scheme of the game, I don't know how you can really say it's a bad
George Silfidis of the Hammer brought this one up. John Rahm dominating for 54 holes and then getting COVID before round 4.
That
was
was
a bad
beat. Very bad
That's a bad beat.
Very bad
I
beat.
actually hit Cantley beat Morikawa in a playoff. I can't.
So somebody brought up Morikawa.
Good beat.
The last one I'll bring up, Colin Morikawa at the 2021 Hero and the 2023 Century. Jeff can give backstory.
I don't know. He got chased down at the Century. I don't even remember the hit and giggle that is the 2021 Hero.
So it doesn't even stick enough for you to say
Doesn't
that
stick
it was.
enough.
Like I'm sure something happened, but not even.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about golf, so let's transition into that next topic that we have on the show, and it is of the Ryder Cup, which Dress is appropriately dressed for, and it's in regards to the Rory and Bryson rivalry that is kind of brewing up. Golf Digest posted about it, Flushing It Golf posted about it, and these guys seem to not like each other and are prepared to kind of make it known if they are paired up together as well for the tournament at any point. Bryson's DeChambeau says, I'll be chirping in his ear this time. Now we go up against each other. I mean, you can be sure of it. And Rory says, I think the only way he gets attention is by mentioning other people. That is basically what I think of that. To get attention, he will mention me or Scotty or others. Quite a few people post about it, as well as Nuclear Golf, which we have here. But I wanted to shed light on the Kalshi markets as well associated with this event. United States at 60%, Europe at 36%. Jeff talked already about some of the bets that he has down in this event. And the top point scorer, Scotty Scheffler 15%, Bryson 9%, John Rahm also 9%, and then Rory and Tommy Fleetwood at 7%. But let's start with you on this one, Jeff. Do you feel this rivalry brewing? Is this something to be aware of going to the Ryder Cup?
No, I honestly didn't even know about it. Like,
Really?
yes, Bryson beat Rory at the U.S. Open.
Yes.
When they were doing like the match or something, Bryson made a joke on the range in like a hitting session, which is like fine. He won. There's like a low-hanging fruit joke, and he took it. And then Rory wins the Masters, and then Bryson comes out and says he didn't talk to me during the round. Like Rory and everyone who gives a shit or knows anything about golf is like, Rory gets a free pat. Like Tiger wouldn't have talked to you. Like that's how he decided to play the day.
Right.
And he needed everything he needed to win the day. Now they have a rival. I don't know. I think it's nothing. I think they're both easily to wind up, but I actually think it's based on a little bit of nothing.
Those quotes, like if you go back to the first one, the Bryson one seems completely nothing. Like I'll be chirping in McIlroy's ear. That seems
it's the
very
Ryder
friendly.
Cup. It's the opposing team. Of course you're going to chirp these guys.
But the Rory one sounds a bit more serious. Like that sounds like someone who's a bit pissed off. But I feel like Bryson is a bit more of a guy who would like talk shit, and Rory is a bit more of a guy who would be offended by it and be like wound up.
Rory can maybe be a little sensitive, and Bryson's playing into it. But I think like maybe this is to win the 3 days. I don't think there is like a long-standing bad blood. I think Rory is annoyed. Rory can get annoyed easily, and we saw that even after winning the Masters, it didn't take much to like annoy him for a period of time in the summer. But I think Rory is annoyed that Bryson was offended and made it public that like we didn't have cordial conversations as the final group of the Masters.
Yeah. I will say this. I like player rivalries in sports. I always have. This kind of feels manufactured around the point of the Ryder Cup to kind of hype it up. But even if it is, I kind of like it, to be honest with you. I think that's what the Ryder Cup is all about. It's like for 4 days, these people just hate each other on opposite 3 days, excuse me. these people hate each other, and then they just go back to playing golf and like getting along with one another. It's just
They're all
it's,
living in Jupiter and living the
they're
Jupiter,
golfing with each other in the
Florida
off
life.
season. You know,
Like this is how it
after.
should be for the Ryder Cup. Like they're rivals here. That's cool to me. This makes me more interested.
Can we hit on the Kalshi for a second?
yes, I want your opinion on this.
So as I've already said, I've been in on Europe. I think it's like even could go maybe either way. Even if the U.S. blows them out, it doesn't shock me. But to me, the rosters are too even to not take the price. And I believe this group, this core of European golfers, you can't be you can't be considered an all-time great group unless you win a roadie. And that is honestly like the most important thing, again, for Rory to do it and for all of them. I just trust them enough to potentially pull off this roadie, but I'm just cheering for incredible golf. Like if Bryson and Cam Young are paired together and playing amazing, that will make me as happy as like winning a bet.
I have a question for both of you here. Like what? So if we're talking about home field, which clearly seems to be priced in, like what do we think home field comes from in golf?
Okay.
Like what?
So Geoff mentioned it off the top, and people might not have got the reference about like Sloanies or whatever. But I told Geoff this it was 4 or 5 years ago. I was at MIT Sloan in Boston, sports analytics conference. There was a panel on golf analytics. They basically talked Ryder Cup for the vast majority of the time, and I wish I could remember who exactly it was, but he talked about the amount of effort that goes in to making the course set up for the players that they've picked for their teams. So if they know people are bombers, they will potentially shorten the rough in areas that will be advantageous to them. All sorts, like they are actually altering the course.
That's wild.
Kirk,
to not-
even
the
to
US an
move a
advantage.
tee box back 8 yards or move it forward 8 yards can alter the landing zones and where the second shots come from and the mat that works in that. Now, there's a deeper level to the mat that I'm not familiar with, but all I would say to this and the home field stuff is I think Europeans are better prepared for America because they pretty much are based here and they do American crowds every week. Even though this is 10x, they know mashed potatoes.
Right.
On the second part of it is I would agree 10, 12 years ago where this data was based off of those European teams. It was Rory and it was like Henrik Stenson, Luke Donald, Sergio Garcia,
Lee Westwood.
Ian Poulter, Lee Westwood. It was like they were a plotter team. Now I would look at both of these rosters, Kirk, and say, what is moving? Like they're the same. They both you can't out-bomb one. Bomb, they got the same amount
The
of bombers.
difference in price,
They got
I think,
the
is
same
actually
amount
the
of-
home field advantage, that home course advantage that's priced in. Because I agree with you. I
But
think
now, in terms of course setup, I would argue the teams are more similar than ever in terms of their makeup as golfers, their golfer profiles.
Got it.
Where in the years leading into some of that Sloan data, which I'm not arguing and I totally agree with, and it bears out in the results, is there truly was the U.S. were big hitting bombers, and it was a team of. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
they were
but it was
they were
like, it
below
was
the
like a
quality
team
of the
like
US.
Russell, like high-end Russell Henleys.
Yeah, I
to
agree
just
with you.
give the player profile.
Yeah, I completely understand.
So-
That's a very, very interesting betting question. Like that's
For every
pretty
bomber
fascinating.
America has now, Europe has one.
Yeah. No, 100%. I agree with you. I think if you look at the teams on paper, to me, they seem like they are very equal teams. I wonder what advantages they can get out of course setup, but like the amount of detail they will put into that, including where tee boxes are placed, all sorts of stuff like that, rough length in certain areas, even the amount of sand that's in bunkers. Sometimes they will alter that. It's pretty crazy.
I can send you an incredible link. Europe was very ahead of USA on this. Like they went to Paris in 18 and just dominated with the setup. They dominated it. These bombers, they put them in a pretzel.
And last question on this, like how long, because they only announced a team not that long ago, like how long does it take to change a golf course that dramatically? Like that's not something.
Oh, they
that-
have an idea. You can cut the rough, you can grow the rough. There's things they can do in like the final 2 weeks,
Sure.
pretty much to fully change a setup. But that being said, they
know who's
if you
generally
went to
gonna be on.
Bethpage in the summer and you spoke to a caddy and you were like, so what have they been changing?
Gone.
I guarantee you he could give you 7 things.
There's so many golf metrics, right? When you have like strokes gained approach, you can do it from different distances, right? So you might know that your team has a huge advantage on approach shots from 175 to 200 yards. So that's where you're going to strategically get those approach shots in, right? It's little things like that, which is great. Honestly, it's the game within the game. I actually love that.
I would actually argue, I think the Ryder Cup would be best in how it's like gotten a new level of ultra competitive that a neutral body took that over.
What if they
Course
played on
setup.
neutral site?
Fuck that.
Played in Australia?
No, there's too many great. There's just too many great. No.
I agree with you.
But I think a neutral body to actually do the setups and the course setups and prep, I think is something to consider.
Yeah.
All right, you heard Geoff's opinion on it. You can get your opinion in as well by heading over to Kalshi with the link in the description or the QR code that is on screen right now if you are watching with us live or if you're watching after the fact. Again, scan that QR code on screen right now. Sign up to Kalshi. Get involved with a great place to put your opinions down, and you can support the show at the very same time. Before we move into our next topic, let's hear about what we have coming to you on the Hammer later today. Let's go to our CEO.
Yeah, I got railroaded last week. I'm watching it hit the books, and they're like, we're done reading the Forward Progress promos. They never promo us. I'm promoting Hit the Books all the time. It actually pains me to do so because I dislike Kanish so much. It is a very, very, very good college football show. If you haven't checked it out yet, I mean, there's less options in market now that Bet the Board is gone this year as well. But I would highly suggest it. The banter between the two is extremely entertaining, great flow. That's over on Hit the Books HQ, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Then we have another live watch along here tonight. Monday Night Football, Ravens and Lions. I'll give out bets about 15 minutes before the show starts. We've been on a fantastic run. I hope it can continue forever. It's the reason I'm still rocking this disgusting beard. I'm superstitious. I don't want to shave. I've been hitting some long shot props. Hopefully it happens again tonight. But if you haven't checked one out yet, come over for the live watch along tonight. It's a good time. We'll have some live bets as well. It's just a great community altogether. So those who support it, thank you very much. If you haven't checked it out yet, come on over.
It'd be a bad beat for your wife if your hot streak continues.
She hates this so much. She hates it. Yeah.
If you do want to subscribe easily to those shows, the links are in the description. If you're watching live right now, I just threw those links in the chat as well. Some great places for some content here with the network. Now we're going to shift back into the NFL and a potential conflict of interest here. I say potential, but maybe confirmed conflict of interest because the NFL tweeted Tom Brady and Raiders OC Chip Kelly work closely together to help with the game plan. And this was during the Raiders game against the Chargers, the primetime Monday Night Football game from last week. And Harrison Graham said the NFL deleted this tweet because it got a lot of negative reactions, of course, because Tom Brady is the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, and he's also a commentator for the NFL. So here are some of the tweets in reaction to that. James Palmer says Tom Brady meets with Chip Kelly 2 to 3 times a week to go over film and go through the game plan. And every weekend, Brady is calling a game for Fox, gathering as much information as possible from players and coaches from both teams to be at his best in the broadcast booth. Got it. Grant Paulson says this is such a ridiculous conflict of interest. Brady was just calling the Commanders game last week, got tons of behind-the-scenes access, but he can just be in the coaching booth when they play in Washington next week. How is this allowed? And finally, Field Yates says, notably, Tom Brady is scheduled to call Cowboys-Bears for Fox in Week 3. The Raiders' Week 4 opponent is the Bears. I know Geoff had his rant about this on one of those Forward Progress watch-alongs. Let's save him for last, Kirk. I want to hear your opinion, first of all, on this. Do you feel like this is a problem for the NFL?
I think in reality, it's totally marginal and not actually like a big advantage for the Raiders, but it just is such a stupid, bad look that obviously shouldn't be allowed. It just makes no sense. The NFL should know that this would obviously be a bad look. The Raiders have handled it about as poorly as possible. The report came out that Chip Kelly was on the phone with Brady 2 to 3 times a week. Then immediately after the game, Pete Carroll said, no, that's not true. Then they delete the tweets. I don't think the Raiders actually have a significant advantage here at all. And I imagine that the teams now are essentially going to give Brady nothing, which is just going to make the broadcast worse as well. But there's just such a bad and stupid gaffe from the NFL that they should have foreseen coming and not allowed it.
It in my opinion, is an insane conflict of interest. I don't think it should be allowed. Even if there's something marginal to be gained, or for example, Raiders-Bears is a great example this week. If the Bears have to change their calls at the line of scrimmage to something different, which they maybe ordinarily wouldn't have to do on a week-to-week basis, that is a marginal thing that they have to do over the course of the week because a broadcaster who has access to the players, the teams, everything, is also he owns a team. Like it is nuts. It's nuts. I mean, I understand why it's happening. Like, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. The NFL just doesn't want to step in this guy's path. He's done so much for the league, so much for the game. I understand it, but the optics are horrible, and the teams know it as well. Like, the team knows it as well. It's, to me, I get why it's happening. It's really dumb that it's allowed.
I'm shaking. But I'm so relieved that the world is talking about it. The Chargers won. I didn't even care. I was more overjoyed. The world is talking about something it felt like only Florio and I were screaming about.
That's never
for
good,
a
by
year.
the way.
I don't care.
You and Florio, the only guy screaming about it. That's time to take a look in the mirror, Geoff.
Okay? I don't give a shit. These Zoom meetings, the coaches, they'll ice them out. That's fine. The head coaches, at this point, you're a head coach in the NFL. You're a made man. That's not the concern at this point. Let alone the concern being that Aaron Andrews and Burkhart can tell him whatever the fuck he wants to know because they go out for dinner and he's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And who the hell wouldn't want to always be impressing Tom Brady? And that's the hook, Kirk. This is where it becomes big. He gets 2 hours on the field. He gets on the field before every game. Every conversation, as far as I'm concerned, is a tampering charge. Every single one of them. And this league does not fuck around with tampering. Second round picks. Didn't the Dolphins lose a first round pick because they tried to woo him and Sean Payton? Here's Tom Brady, the assistant's assistant. Tom Brady's an owner of a team. Yeah. People want to suck up to him. People want to get in his good graces because he can then give them a job later in life.
Yeah.
Let's say the Raiders are firing a coach. He gets all these informal conversations that if my team fires a coach, they can't have until the end of the season in a little 2-week window. Brady's already had 4 of those conversations. How the fuck does that make any sense? He is not a vanity owner. Serena Williams owns a little piece of the Dolphins. We saw Vince Carter and some whatever goobers buy a little piece of the Bills. Those are vanity projects. This is not a vanity project. He is only chasing what matters most to him, the next ring.
Yeah.
And he will do whatever he can because he's Tom Brady to get it. It is wrong on every single level. I can't believe the league is bending backwards for their 5th best broadcaster. To Rob's point, they just want Tom Brady's face on TV at 4 o'clock. We're hooked. We're watching. People watching this are watching. Normies, Tom Brady matter. Who's announcing that face might actually matter to them. Fox doesn't give a shit that it hurts him doing a good job.
No, they don't care.
Because Lachlan Murdoch is only doing this for his 8 dinner parties a year that he probably gets for that $37 million. But last weekend, the Manning brothers were umping Savannah Banana games, and Tom Brady is destroying the integrity of the NFL.
I'll say this. Imagine you had like an intern from Fox who's on the field every week, and he is feeding information to a team in the NFL that says X, Y, and Z. That would be the scandal of the and it's happening in front of our faces. Like it is literally happening every week. And yes, it's getting talked about now. I'm glad, but it is happening, and there's no recourse for it. It's just going to continue happening. It is really a dumb, unfair advantage.
How much money did that crypto hair freak show take from Tom Brady that he needs to be doing this, taking that money from Saudi Arabia? He is so much above Saudi Arabia in taking that money. Maybe that freak show took it a lot more than we were led to believe. But it is so beneath him what is happening.
I mean, he got roasted on Netflix. So this is very outside of what I would have expected.
You can own a team. I know Michael Jordan wasn't a great executive, but he does not look to take every job offered to him.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I
be
I'm
the
with
greatest
you.
of all time with a little bit of class and dignity, for fuck's sake.
I love when you get fired up, Jim.
No, it is.
I knew he'd get fired. He got fired up on the watch.
It is a walking
Thursday.
It is a walking tampering charge.
I agree
and
with
every
you.
owner, Jerry Jones, should ask for a field pass to a neutral game. Will he be granted it? Not a chance in the world. Name any random owner. They call Cal McNair of the Texans. I just want a field pass for Chargers Giants.
Yeah.
He's not getting it.
No. I know it's happening right in front of our eyes, and there's like
And
that's
honestly, in solidarity, the owners who don't care need to stand with the owners who care, because I promise you there's 3 owners in the AFC West that care a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I get why there might be owners in the NFC or something that don't care as much.
yeah.
All right.
I bet a little bit of Raiders early against the Bears as well. I didn't even consider that Tom Brady's information might be valuable.
Well, it
but
didn't
now
work
that-
last week because Brady called week 1 Commanders Giants, and
Yeah.
then yesterday the Raiders got mollywopped by the Commanders.
That different quarterback. Mariota's
Oh, yeah,
playing
no,
instead.
I'm just-
There was 2 special
Raiders
teams,
stink.
huge returns.
I would
teams
love for
absolutely
I
stink.
would love for the Raiders to dummy the Bears in that narrative. Just be like,
Oh.
it's because Brady was
Cannot
in the
wait.
like. You know how I feel. I don't really connect those dots.
It actually
Because
might
he's going
take
to
that
be
happening.
iced out now in those situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's everything else ancillary to that. A free agent, Brady's yucked him up 4 times. He's calling the best games with the best teams.
The smartest coach, like imagine it's Commanders Giants, you're Dan Quinn, you know you're going to play the Raiders in a few weeks. I mean, I'll tell you, if I was in Dan Quinn's shoes and I had some access to Brady, I might be feeding him
sorry,
some incorrect
yeah.
info.
We can go out on this. If I'm an owner in this league, I'm literally hiring every single color guy in the league to be a consultant for my goddamn team.
That's the next workaround.
Okay?
Yeah, that's the next one.
Troy Aikman,
Yep.
give him the bag. He's now works for us.
Yeah, he's back on the Cowboys payroll at this point. You know, I agree with you.
And it wouldn't be blocked.
How can you? There's a precedent in place for Brady now. I'm with you, Jeff. I think that's the next. I'm
Good,
going to
good
call up
idea.
Eager after the show today and be like, listen, Eager, you
Yeah,
got to get some
Tepper's like the
broadcast.
richest owner in the league other than Walmart in Denver.
I know.
They should do it.
I like the idea. Let us know your thoughts in the chat or in the comments. We're going to move into the other side of American football, which is the college football space. And we had Jeff Nadeau, formerly of the Friday Circle Back show, does a lot of content in the college football space. And he tweeted, coming from working out, and naturally I get irritated, so fucking tired of this bullshit. And it was a 45-ish second rant, and he was yelling about weather delays in college football based on weather that is happening at quite a distance away from the actual college football event. Brad Powers of the Hit the Book show that Rob was promoting earlier CC'd his co-host, Joey Knish, and said the anti-weather delay movement is growing. And then he also followed it up by saying, I simply don't remember this many weather delays watching CFB in the 1990s and 2000s. We'll go to you, Rob. Is there a problem with weather delays in the college football space?
So I just don't really know why this is happening. Like I watched a lot of college football when I was younger, and there would be like a tornado watch in the area, and like they would basically just tell the band play louder, like we're just playing.
Well, liability insurance.
Well, okay.
That's why they got to clear the stands. They got to clear the prop. Like that's the problem.
I honestly just feel like it's a
Litigation.
reflection of like society has gotten softer as a whole. We have like all the litigation. It's not better weather radar because they can't even fucking tell me like what if it's gonna rain tomorrow if I'm trying to schedule a round of golf. I don't know what's happening, but it is bothersome. Like, listen, there's people in the stands. You want people to be safe. I completely.
It's
get it.
aluminum benches
You know,
in a lot of these college stadiums.
Yeah,
it's
just
not
make
like
rub-
seats. It's aluminum bench.
you have to start building these benches out of rubber and stuff like that to prevent them from lightning strikes. But it does seem like this never happened before. This is very irregular, is it not?
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those things where like you don't have to have an opinion on everything, and like I would need to see, okay, how many more games are being delayed? Is there someone who is in charge of this who can say, you know, X percentage more games are getting delayed because we set the standards Y higher? Like, Nadeau and Knish aren't going to exactly be the ones to convince me that there's some grand conspiracy on weather delays.
There could be something that's changed where like the mile radius around the stadium has gotten wider where they have to then call it.
Potentially.
Because something
Sure.
like that I feel like
Regulations.
happened in golf where like they extended the like weather in the area, the lightning in the area to a wider margin, and it made getting back to play more difficult. My only take on this was like, I just hope, and I love Nadeau crew, Team Nadeau. This has to be performative.
His?
Because if
Oh, yeah.
you are getting that angry over
I would
this,
hope.
then like I'm worried something else in life has you like really worked up, because this isn't Like that. Like you're not getting that angry over this.
I think no matter what, if you bet on a game and it goes to a delay, it triggers you.
Yeah.
No matter what. First game of the season,
puts you off
Cowboys,
schedule.
everyone's like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is going on? I can't understand. My bets are in action. What does this mean for when they come back? People are saying, oh, Dallas, Philly, you got to refund the overs because the scoring stopped after. Like, it's just a triggering event.
Truly embarrassing. And like looking back on it, you feel disgusting. Where like I'm out with my kids on Saturday and I'm like hawking when that Notre Dame game is going to start again and if they're going to keep the rules.
Yeah.
Because it was like going long and I'm like literally like refreshing every 4 minutes. Where if I just checked every half hour, it was like nothing would change. So I agree in my own way. It was it was giving me anxiety, I guess, more than anything.
I was there's a lot of like, you can get a lot of anxiety nowadays with sport. You always have been able to, but now with like certain things happening, I was watching Hit the Books last week. I can't remember exactly which game it was that Brad gave out, but the team that got blown out was Duquesne. I think they're like a second division FCS team or whatever. But it was like 38-0 at the half, 45-0 in the beginning of the third quarter. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this guy is about to get cucked again on these two coaches just getting together and saying, you know what, let's just maybe run the clock or maybe not play the fourth quarter. It didn't end up happening. But like you have to look at this stuff nowadays. And the weather delays, I don't know. I think it's a societal thing. I remember like we're not far from what used to be the Molson Amphitheater, Budweiser stage. I remember going to a show there like 15 years ago, torrential downpour, lightning in the background, whole show happened. 2 months ago, I go to see Our Lady Peace over there, and like the show was postponed for an hour and a half because there's lightning in the area. I didn't see no lightning. It's not even raining. Like there's nothing happening. What are we doing here? It's got to be, as far as I know, I don't know of an instance where someone got like struck by lightning in a stadium or in the area or something, but there must have been something that happened that just triggered a shift.
Because they don't even let you like hang out in the stands.
No, you got to go
even
on.
like at a golf, they get you like at a golf, like you're off. I mean, golf's different, but like you got to be off property.
Yep, you got to get underneath to shelter. They will get you. You're just crowding underneath that stadium.
Love the interaction we're getting so far from the chat. We had John Smith, who immediately said, once I brought the topic up, that he did this for clout, as you guys kind of said. Also, really like the interaction we get in the comment section on these streams. We still look at them and look at all of them after the fact. We're going to feature 3 of them on the show, as we normally do, so make sure you comment something for next week. And hey, while you're down there, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you do hit the like button, help support the Circles Off channel, and subscribe if you're new. Help push us to 20,000 subscribers. The first comment that we have on the show today comes from Aiden Johnson, 3817, says, couldn't agree more on the DK teaser issue. At my book, we had the same teaser issue. It's simply a manual adjustment and give them a free bet. Bam. Kind of what you were saying last week, Rob.
It's that simple. Like customer service should always be a huge priority for a sports book. And listen, tech glitches happen all the time. You just got to make them right. Like eat the L, not eat the W like Jameis. Eat the L and make it right.
Second comment comes from M. Moore, 1968. Says, limiting activity within a heavily regulated book market is a fantastic topic that needs a lot more talk. Are limiting decisions also subject to clear regulation? Example, exactly who can a regulated book limit/ban for exactly what objective activity? Or are those decisions left wide open to book discretion? I know many bettors who are not professional making modest dollar wagers who are likely not even long-term winners who are aggressively quickly limited, presumably for showing the most modest level of competence. Fair? In an otherwise heavily regulated environment, why are moderately sophisticated short-term winners not allowed to win a little? Love the topic. Well, let's elaborate a little bit more. Geoff, you kind of talked about this last week, so why don't you take the lead here?
Yeah, there's just a lot of these real books. They don't let me bet. I'm not like a known winner. Some of them, there was 1 or 2 of them, or I guess a lot of them locally as they popped out. I didn't even win a bet at.
You're price sensitive. They don't want you, Geoff. They don't want that you're going to bet at their book when you're getting the best price in the market.
I know I keep making the comparison, but I find it hard to believe that people are like so price sensitive. Like I'll never wait in line for gas. When it's like free slushy day or something, no.
Dude,
never.
you see those Costco
like, I would
lineups
just
for
rather
gas?
pay double to go to the front or just come back another day. I'm not waiting for free scoop or free
You
slushy.
go to Wonderland, you get the fast pass. You're not waiting in the 1 hour line for the roller coaster.
But I
You
just,
wanna
when
get
I
it
want to
right away.
buy something, I just like, no, I know the 4 places that sell it. I see who's got the best price. I see, okay, well, that, how far it is from me. And then we make that decision. So I don't know what, like, sportsbooks want to penalize me for doing that.
Yeah.
Is essentially, and that's weird because I'm not a winner. And I just like betting really recreationally for the most part.
Yeah. I think there's a very clear answer to what he's asking here, which is like, why are limiting decisions not more regulated? And it's because you need the regulators to know what they're doing. I mean, the reality is, let's call this out for what it is, but this is to generate tax revenue for different states and provinces. As simple as that. And when you do that, you just keep the sports books happy. And unfortunately, that's what the state of regulation across North America has been so far. There's very little protection for the players. Even in case, I always go back to the Plus EV Analytics case where he tried to sue Caesars. Like, for them not to rule in his favor is absurd. And it just gives you a general view into how the landscape currently is. So I agree. There should be way more discourse about that, but I doubt that there ever will be, to be honest.
Yeah, I would wager that, especially at the time of legalization, most regulators weren't even aware that limiting was a thing that existed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. Like, I'm actually not sure. I think it would be better for, like, sophisticated squares if it was regulated. I'm not sure it would be better for, like, big winners, but I think it like, if you're telling me what's best for the industry, obviously it was something that should be addressed by regulators. But yeah, they still probably don't even know it's a thing.
And last comment comes from Quiet Jim, who says, somewhere along the line, rec and square became interchangeable. Personally, I find the rec offensive recs. Personally, I find the rec offensive. Recs are just bettors who don't make a living from betting. I'd bet a high % of recs are sharp. Sharp being a bettor who understands how the system works and can find an edge that's not just anecdotal. So interesting conversation here, because I would consider a rec bettor somebody who is like mostly coin flipping. I wouldn't consider that's someone who's winning, but this conversation takes in a different direction.
I think the terminology I think rec bettors and square bettors are different. And I agree that I probably use them interchangeably without thinking of them. There is such thing as a rec sharp. There is.
That's why I saw the sophisticated square.
Well, that's, yeah,
Like-
I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I definitely use this interchangeably, but I agree a rec can probably be sharp, but I use them interchangeably. To me, it's more like, if you're sharp, you're a winner. You don't have to do it for a living. But if you're a rec or a square, it's something you do recreationally or like just like for fun. But I could see it. It's very semantic.
I never thought anyone would, because he says he finds it offensive.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I offended.
I apologize as
finds
well. I
rec
never.
offensive.
I might be really naive, which is true. I actually think most bettors, like most rec bettors, like, know when they're making a square bet. A lot of the time. Like, when they're betting their favorite team, when they're just, like, loading up on a TV game, like, they know this is like a coin flip. They, like, I'm not, like, this is in the conversation of recs and squares are two different. Like, I believe they know, for the most part, this is not...
Yeah, like, I'm doing this because this is my favorite team. I don't think it's necessarily a good bet. I don't know.
And there's a lot of people that you know, Rob, who, like, I think are very successful in, like, their walk of life, and they're, like, incredibly even as, like, do great with, like, playing like the stock markets and doing all sorts of things, and they'll sit down on a Sunday and make rec bets. I think they know that they're making rec bets.
I don't know what the percent. I definitely agree that there are some people that are in that boat. I also think that there's a camp of people who think they're going to win.
Oh, there's a lot of people.
The ego plays a big factor, I think, for a lot. Like, I think about my friends, and again, this is just like the culture around me, but none of my friends realize that they're square bettors. They all think that they're going to win. No, despite the amount of evidence showing the contrary over the years, they still will fire their bets on Sunday mornings as if they have a winning week, something happens. It instills this thought process in their brain of, like, I told you, I knew that this was going to happen. And, I always say zoom out. That's what I tell them. Why don't we zoom out a little bit?
Oh, like
is
look
what
at the P&Ls
They do
or
not.
something?
They do not like that. When I tell them, they do not like that.
Zoom out.
I like that.
Like I said, I enjoy the conversation we get in the chat. Jeff Nadeau's actually joined us in the live chat. What's up, Nadeau? We also
crew.
we
Nadeau
also
flew.
have people in the comments, which we just pulled up, but also the conversation now continues off of the live stream. Rob, tell us what we had launched last week.
Yeah, absolutely. We launched a Discord for the first time. If you want to check it out, there's a link in the description below. I can just tell you it's discord.gg/hammer.
Also in the chat.
Absolutely pinned at the top of the chat as well. So it's pretty lively community right now. Lots of people are always asking me, I get tons of DMs for picks and whatever. Trying to post as many of my thoughts as I can in the Discord, as is the rest of our community. We now have over 700 members in the first week. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do. I think it's a good spot for us all to go and connect with one another when it comes to sports betting, rather than, this show's going to end. All of you in the live chat are going to move on with your days. Why not interact somewhere else over the course of the day? So if you want to do that, check out our Discord. So far, so good, and I would highly recommend it.
We'll move into our next topic, which is Taylor Mathis with a return to the show. Haven't seen her on the show, I don't think, in quite a while now. But VSIN Live, who also does sports betting content, pretty well respected in the space, says big news. Team Math Sports is now hosting her community on Juice Reel. You've seen her walking bets, and now you can grab her verified
What
plays
the
directly
fuck?
in the app. Transparent records, track results, no guesswork. Start tailing Taylor today. Paul Zilm says, what happened to VSIN? The last year or so been filled with some interesting decisions. This feels like a whole new level, though. The Degenerate, who also does sports betting content at the DGen Weekly, who we feature on the show a little bit as well, says, I had to double check to make sure this came from the real VSIN account. Been a proud listener for 8+ years. This is a tough look. Taylor Mathis herself, who does that sports betting content, which based on our last conversation, we would call it square content instead of recreational content. I think that's the best way to describe it now. Says, the sports gambling community hates me so bad. I work really hard and put out fun wagertainment. Go touch grass and get off your simulation model.
I love her. She says I love her. I didn't even open it up. I just wrote yes. Because Rob asked me to look before I went to bed.
Yeah. Well,
I saw T-Math tweet, and I just said yes. I didn't even open it.
It's funny you did, because Jacob's like, we haven't talked about her on the show. And for those that don't know, we vote on topics collectively as a group, and we pick ones that we're interested in. The Friday crew wants nothing to do with any Taylor Mathis comment. They just get downvoted. So, but I thought like...
And I don't think in this instance people are coming at her. I think they're coming at VSIN.
That's
we know
exactly
what we
it.
want
Well,
from...
they're coming at VSIN because they're hiring her.
Yeah,
No,
but
they're not,
it's
though. They're not.
No, they're coming at VSIN
Or-
not because of her, because it's...
Because it doesn't
if-
fit the brand.
Yeah.
If VSIN hired me, it
Yes.
would be like, why are you
Yes.
doing that? This isn't...
Right.
You
Okay.
are alienating the people who actually put in the hours or give you those views and give you the retention. That is what I think the uproar is I love Taylor. I love her, but I don't think that her and VSIN are a good combo.
Bingo. 3 parties involved here. Juice Reel is a new bet tracking app. I did some calls with them. They were interested in advertising on our platform. I actually think the app is honestly pretty solid. Reminds me a lot of what we were trying to build at BetStamp in the early going. No issues with them trying to get verified records and stuff like that. So zero issue there, and I didn't really see them get called out at all. But it's Taylor Mathis, anyone who wants to call her out for this is out to lunch. Because first and foremost, you can't go after her for years being you're not transparent, you don't keep track of your records, and then she finally agrees to do that. Okay, obviously she's getting paid for it, but regardless, you can't go after her and be like, oh, now, what are you doing? So that doesn't fit. It is a call out at VSIN, and I think it's just strictly because, I don't know. I'm just purely speculating here, but they've done a lot of things over the past 6 months or so that would indicate to me that maybe there are some troubling times ahead for VSIN. I think that this was probably something that they didn't want to do, but there's some sort of partnership they're entering in with Juice Reel at this point, and they tweeted it out, and it just fucking... people lost it. And this tweet from DGen Weekly, the Degenerate, I think that was this is just a commentary about VSIN. right? And this doesn't fit the brand. So I thought it was actually kind of a shitty low blow from her to then go after him. I don't know. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me. But to me, I just view this as a call out of VSIN, and I think it's very fair, to be honest.
Yeah, agreed. The Venn diagram of, Juice Reel users, VSIN listeners, and Taylor Mathis fans, that the middle there is very barren. There aren't many, so I don't really get who this is for.
Yeah, I think that's just life. If you're a brand and you do something that would insinuate or like other people would view as not fitting with the brand that you've built for years, you are going to get called out for it. That's just the way the world works. Like, people can tell when you are shilling nowadays for certain things, and that's what that comes across.
We just did 8 minutes on it.
Yeah.
How seriously the NFL takes tampering.
Yes.
On every level. And then it's literally happening in front of our eyes weekly. And we're just supposed to be like, oh, nothing here.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just a weird look. I saw it happen. Man, I have not seen an uproar like that against a brand in a long time. It just instantaneously popped into every single group chat that I'm in. Like, can you believe this? And I do think Taylor gets lumped into it because of who she is. But again, all of this just doesn't.
She's interchangeable. I think you still get there's dozens of people I think that tweet goes out with that your group chat reacts within 80 percentile.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think if that was a Juice Reel chat, this would never happen, by the way. But if it was the exact same tweet and it was Kirk Evans tracking his picks, I don't even think anything would come of that.
No, I agree. But if it was I don't know, who's a good example? There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Just a lot of random people. If it was Kelly in Vegas, we'd probably get
the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's just brand fit is what it comes down to.
If it was George,
yeah.
It's the same thing.
I know.
He's got a notebook. She's got milk pickers. It's the same thing. Everyone comes with accessories.
No one's there looking for the actual picks. They are there for the entertainment. And I agree with her. It's wagertainment.
Well, speaking of Kelly in Vegas and GRP wins, they were involved in a conversation together on Bet Sweats, at bet_sweats. And Kelly in Vegas was speaking on the show about Dressgate, which is GRP wins ahead of the NFL season. Said that he performed worse on his NFL picks than Kelly in Vegas. He would wear a dress to Bet Bash next year. Well, George started off the season selling picks. He made 5 plays. He lost all 5 and then decided to retire from NFL sides. And then I think he still made some side bets this weekend.
Back, baby!
Back. By the way, sorry to interrupt you, Jacob, for introing the topic. Hitman messaged me yesterday and he tweeted it. He's like, George went 2-0 this week. I guarantee he will be back giving out sides again next week. And of course,
that's not a hot take.
It's not, but it is funny that ended up happening that way.
Buddy, that Bo got his mojo back.
Yes. I'm also going to correct one thing here because I don't think this is actually public knowledge. It hasn't been talked about at all. I was in the Twitter spaces when George said this. I was also a speaker with George at the time. He said specifically that if he didn't hit 52.5%, so he had to hit at 52.5%, and Kelly had to finish lower than that for that to the dress thing to happen. So basically, there's 2 things in play here. It's not just George losing. George has to win and Kelly has to lose. It's very convoluted over here.
And I'll tell you, as the George superfan,
yeah,
I actually tune out. I've said this to you before. When he starts attacking women in the space, I tune out. It's the only content that I don't get into. So I actually had no idea about this bet, but I've seen a lot of fair and balanced people claim its legitimacy. So I think the bet's real.
So Kelly in Vegas said, you open your mouth, now you have to follow up with it. I also really love how in the bottom ticker here, they called him Mr. 0-5. And then in the video, they refuse to say his name.
She won't let them say his name. That has to be it. Because
for sure.
In the video, they purposely avoided saying his name.
Well, because there's a directive when you have a guest on that they get to make a play, and Kelly's entitled to make that
Of course.
play.
I just find it hilarious.
I actually love that.
Mr. 0-5.
It's hilarious.
Do not
imagine
say
we
his
just
name.
started referring to people that we talk about regularly, but not by their name.
Mr. minus 80 units.
I was going to go with the exact same thing. There we go.
And anyways, Kelly in Vegas posted a photo of George photoshopped in a dress for one of his food photos, which was great. You're missing out if you're only listening in audio form. And in the video, she said she would go to Nordstrom Rack and pick out a dress for George to wear to Bet Bash next year. And George said, I do like Nordstrom, so that's good. But she's forgetting it's not over yet. I'm down 5.5 units, so she could still easily end up worse than me.
There's,
and I
there's
did not
no
know
way
that
would be the term, total units, and then like you claim it would be allowed to leave after 2 weeks.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if somebody just if in order for George to wear the dress, Kelly in Vegas must go over 52.5% on her leans, and he has to go under 52.5% on his best bets. So
Okay.
she has to win, and he has to
Those are the
lose,
terms.
essentially. Those are the terms. So it's a combination.
So we're really cheering for Kelly in Vegas right now.
At this point, and that's why he's got to come back, and he cannot not give picks. At
He's
this point.
he's already back on the horse.
Does anyone know what Kelly is at so far this year? Does anyone in the chat have been following?
And I guarantee
Has
you
George been
this.
documenting these? I haven't seen him
He
make a
said he
deal with
was,
it.
and then he gave up. So we'll see. But I guarantee you this with George, he's gonna get a little case of the Zelberts. He is going to show us the record, but then he's going to have a side note record after week 2.
Yeah.
Because he's already said, I never bet week 1,
Yeah.
so I shouldn't have bet week 1.
Oh,
and he's
boy.
acknowledged week 1 that he never bets, got blown out, put him on tilt for week 2. He's like clear-minded and refreshed now. So he will have a post-week 2 record.
That'd be a villain origin, man. That'd be like posters getting ripped off the wall if he does that, man.
When does he start betting minus 130s and tell us all that it's minus 110-ish?
Minus
Minus
110.
And
110-ish.
also, I think we'd all agree, George, at least whether you're good or bad at the draft, he does get good numbers with the draft, and that must cook every single one of his books. If,
Well, yeah,
even
he's
if they let him
complained
bet a
lately
bit
about
on the
that.
draft.
Could be such a good mover. Do you understand what his accounts could potentially be worth? He's betting $1,000 plays into like NFL sides and total markets. A trader reviewing that account is going to be like,
Just hear me out.
but he's
He's sportsbook simp, George simp. It does seem like more often than not, like if you were doing a forensic accounting, you'd be like, this guy does get a good number. He does beat the number with the NFL. He's betting them early. No?
I don't think.
If
The spreads that
First of all, so his name is so out there in the community now, right? So if you're a trader and you know that the account is under George Panagakis, you're not fucking limiting that account. I mean, the guy who limited him for draft, okay, I can understand that. Like he was crushing draft.
I
props
want
early.
my traders to DM me.
Because I'll tell you from experience, I've opened up accounts as Rob Pizzola, and I've been limited before I even make bets before. So a trader smart enough about what's going on in the ecosystem is that account ain't getting limited if he bets NFL. If he bets purely NFL under George Panagakis for $1,000, $2,000 a pop, I think that account would be very valuable for some other people in the space. That's all I'm saying.
And for him.
And I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but for $250K, you
250.
can get the whole.
No, that's off the table. It's got to be off the table now.
Oh, now that he's
Well, he's not selling it anymore. He's going back to giving out sides.
no one bid. Okay.
You know what? No one bid at 250K. Tough.
No takers. All right, moving into the final segment on the show, which is the chopping block. This is the stuff that doesn't require full-scale segments, but nonetheless, we did want to discuss it. Chone Figgins at AltBurner account says, just saw some guy on TikTok touting his model that was 13 points off an NFL spread. The reply says, what's the play? And he says it was Atlanta, Carolina, basically Falcons minus 17 against the Panthers. Now, it is funnier now knowing the Panthers absolutely decimated the Falcons on top of that.
Yeah.
But the spread was off by 13 points apparently. What do we think on this one?
I mean, might as well film the TikTok video with a sign that says, I don't know what I'm doing, if you're going to post stuff like this. Listen, the reality is there are some models that can be off by 13 points and still be directionally correct enough where maybe they're valuable. That's going to be an extremely, extremely rare instance. It's probably not coming from some kid on TikTok who thinks he just fucking cracked the Da Vinci Code when he's posting these model numbers. I think for those in the know, like I can't even imagine what would be going through my head to post this. I would be so embarrassed to put out numbers publicly that were that far off the actual spread of the game. And
you think like he's intentionally playing? I guess anyone doing this is intentionally playing the lowest common denominator. It's like the same people that would fall for this or like buy that package are the same people that are like calling the phone psychics,
Geoff?
right? To get a reading on tomorrow.
My thought when I saw this was like, we're for sure missing out on the most egregious stuff because
it's on TikTok.
The TikTok and Instagram touts for sure know that when they come to Twitter, people shit on them. But that's not true on TikTok or Instagram. So like, this is probably happening all over.
Our old Circles Off producer, Zach, had one guy on TikTok that used to drive him crazy.
The Jeep?
The Jeep guy. And he would always like post videos but he'd be like sitting in the passenger seat of a Jeep, like claiming it was his own. And like, anyways, but the comments were all so positive. And Zach used to get so triggered. I think we might need to do some videos. Honestly, I think it'd be good content reacting to YouTube, reacting to TikTok videos. I think that would be big on YouTube for us. But I will say this:
great idea.
There are people who will just put that out for engagement. Because in 2018, I was contracted by a company that they were like, "Listen, we don't need you to. We need you to build an NFL model." That we can publicly put the numbers out there on a weekly basis. And like our hosts can use them to talk. It was almost like remember the Odd Shark had like the supercomputer or whatever? It was something like that. Anyways, I built out all the logic for them. They paid me for it. I sent the model. This was not something that was going to like beat markets, but I noticed that they weren't using it on the website. So I reached out. I'm like, you guys paid me like a decent amount of money to do this. Like, what's up? Do you need help? And they're like, the numbers are just too close to the market. Like, we don't want our guys going on shows and being like, we have a half-point edge on this. We want to say, like, this team's going to win by 35. I was like, okay, I understand the game. Should have let me know that in the first place that I wouldn't have done this work for you. But that's just, like, a big thing nowadays is people just being able to talk about it. There's so much of the audience, one more story. I'm sorry I'm dragging on here, but, like, when I was 2008, 2009, there was a site called the Sports Network, okay? And they had a college basketball preview for every single game, every single day. It was a full write-up preview.
I knew the guy that owned that whole thing.
Okay. At the bottom of every college basketball preview, every single day, there was a predicted final score. I used to bet those like they were gospel. I was 20 years old. I would be like, holy shit, like Portland State is a 2-point underdog, and these guys are predicting them to win by 17 points. And I would watch the games on Sports Network, just refreshing every minute while the score. Like, I know that there are people out there like I used to be. And it's sad, but the vast majority of people who find this stuff on TikTok, they don't even think anything about it.
It's the same people that are going to reply to like the African Prince email.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you only need to get like so many people to have a good day.
100%.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the way it works.
Next topic is from Mike Rass, Mike R_Rass, who upgraded the basement setup that we talked about previously on the show. Here it is on screen right now. So you've got the flat screen TV on the right. You got 4 of them in the middle with like a ticker above it with like scores and lines.
I think that's a wine cellar on the right as well.
A wine cellar on the right, and then he's got his desk set up with a curved monitor and his laptop. I mean, this is just absolutely fantastic. This is one of the peak setups I've ever seen in someone's home. I've never seen the ticker like this. I would.
He's got an odds board on the left side as well, like a full odds screen.
Yeah, he does. Not in frame here, but yes, you're right. This is the dream, isn't it?
Geoff, you don't see I don't get excited about a lot of things anymore. This is a dream setup for me.
It's a sauna on the right,
I
not a
can't-
sauna.
Even better.
No, that's great. And it looks good, but like this just you and your pros, this doesn't resonate with me. Like
Really?
there's got to be chairs for the boys, an NFL Blitz arcade
But
machine in the
chairs that
corner.
are in here are the same chairs we have in the watch along against this closest wall. I don't know.
I don't know. The and I get it. It's the job. He runs the sensitive, really expensive service.
Yeah.
I just like and it's his life. It's the job. So the desk is the job. I just like that desk in the middle of the room puts me on.
I would take the desk out.
Yeah, that's all. Got a sauna, the setup.
Yeah, it looks like
I wouldn't like. Well, I don't know. And I agree. Like that doesn't. That won't like land well with the kids in the future either.
I know he has a son. I wonder if all I know is my setups
You
are
could
always
do
shit.
that.
Well, I easily could, but I don't have it in me. Like, there's a lot of features here.
You could hire someone who would
I
literally,
absolutely
you
could.
just do this, give them your vision. You'd come home from work one day. You could probably, because, in Woodbridge, you could probably get the TVs cheaper off a truck because you know someone, and you just show home one day, you buy him the TVs, and he'll do it for you.
I have a guest house, which is basically my man cave. And right now, I just have one 95-inch TV on the wall, and I bring my laptop in there, and that's like where I watch my sports. But I don't know why this feels like so overwhelming to get. Like, there's lighting behind the TVs as well. There, like,
is there? That
Yeah.
could just be from.
No, there's.
It looks like there's lighting behind
It looks like there's strip lighting behind the TV. Like, there's a lot of thought that was put into creating this. I love this setup. I just
The desk seems too close to the.
I'm ignoring.
to the
The desk I
TVs.
wouldn't like there, but the rest I would very.
if you're a bettor, you need the desk.
You're right. Yes.
Yeah.
But you need the desk that close to the TVs that are that big?
Maybe you could. I don't know what the close side of
I
this
know it
looks
made jokes. It's actually like awesome.
It's amazing.
Obviously the desk is weird for like a not pro.
Yeah.
Right? But I
For
totally.
if you had like a nice sofa there, you'd probably be in heaven.
Or like-
a little coffee table to put your feet up on.
Yeah, heaven,
What a dream.
heaven. And you could even, if you could like lock the kids out or something.
The next one comes from Jesse Morse, the Twitter doctor we featured last week, who posted the in honor of Austin Eckler's Achilles injury. Unfortunately, another running back added to the list to honor. But this week, he said top bets based off injuries. And he posted a bunch of player props with no price and unlikely to be accurate numbers. And it was a reply that said, reply from Johnny says, nice bets, but you aren't getting those bets anymore, Doc. Should have posted that days ago. And he said, sure you can. Odds are just different. Parlay them.
Oh my God.
In the medical industry, there's malpractice. This is betting malpractice, is what it is here. So the first tweet, top bets based off injuries, as if like when Zach Charbonnet is out, we don't understand, like the market doesn't react to that. And but there's no odds attached to any of these guys. They seem to be random, like
Only one of them
there's
is
no way
half-
Jefferson and
Chase,
Jamar
50
Chase were 50 yards. Yeah.
But so then the response, nice bets, but you aren't getting those bets anymore, Doc. Should have posted that days ago. Sure you can. Odds are just different. Parlay them.
I think that's crazier than the lunatic with the Falcons spread.
I agree. I think this is more nuts than the TikTok guy with the 13 points off in the
Kind of is.
Just saying like, oh yeah, just parlay. Like as if the move. We don't even. Odds are just different. I mean, there were no odds in the first place. We don't know. But again, to like recommend just parlaying them as a way to offset the fact that the odds have moved, like it doesn't make. Is not rooted in any sort of reality.
Imagine going to medical school, working your life to become a doctor, and being Dr. Jesse Morse.
Is he actually a doctor?
Yes, he's an MD.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
but I could write that.
Dr. Jacob Gramegna, MD.
I think he has like a practice.
I think so too. I don't know
Like-
the deal on him in terms of what because like Tim Andricus is a doctor.
Yeah, but that's like a doctor of like political science.
Yes.
No, this is an MD.
He's an MD.
Okay, he claims to be a doctor. I believe he is a doctor.
I think that's bad. But imagine taking your advice, betting advice, from a guy who's working in like a medical practice all day long, and just being like, you know what, I'm going to trust this guy's bets now that he's just fired them all off randomly at one time. They're both equally bad. This is a sad situation all around. That's all I can say about this. I know we covered Dr. Jesse Morse last week. I don't even understand what he thinks parlaying them is going to do. I don't understand. It's so...
He could just be trolling. Like
no, I don't
could-
think he is.
He's not trolling.
Like,
There's no
I mean,
way.
like, he knows how insane. He knows how nefarious.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
I don't think he's trolling either, for what it's worth. Last topic in the chopping block. Rob, you posted this one. You said, the NFL trend mining has gotten out of control. The sport evolved on the field and the market evolved off it. I don't know what going back to 1991 is going to tell you. Snoop Dogg replied, #circle back. Yes. We needed to be alerted from Rob's tweet. But thank you nonetheless.
Thank you for alerting me to my own tweet.
You can use the #circleback to help us pick content for the show. Rob, on this topic here, is there anybody in mind when you posted this?
No, it's honestly everyone. I see so much of it. Obviously, there's trigger points. And the definite trigger point for me this week was watching Sharper Square with Chad Millman and Simon Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
And it
You
got...
put yourself through that.
I do it every
He
week.
loves it.
You speak
Rob
about
loves
this,
it every week.
Wanting Jacob to compile like a handful of TikTokers for us to sit through. I'd rather the better content would just be watching you watch that show.
I actually thought about launching a Patreon with that exact same thing.
But you don't need.
I don't need the
You
money.
don't
We'll go
need
to
the
charity.
money.
It's not that. It's,
No, I know. It's like you need people to make an effort in a way for you to do this thing that is even a level up of mean-spiritedness than you would normally do.
So here's the thing. I definitely don't like Simon Hunter. I'll make that explicitly clear. The reason I don't is not because of any, like, as a person. I could actually see myself having a beer with the guy and like talking football. I just think that he very much misrepresents himself and also like finds ways to make himself look dumber. Like when you're a pro bettor and you see someone who says things like, we got the Bears and the Cowboys this week, I think that people are betting the pros are betting the Cowboys because of the trends. And Simon is like, what trends? He's like, I don't know if you've seen this, Chad. Caleb Williams is 0-7 in his career in 1 p.m. starts. The game was at 4:25. It wasn't even at 1 p.m. No pro would ever consider that in any capacity because it's not meaningful. Like, just think about things from a logical perspective when trends are put out there, right? I seen the one about the Detroit Lions with the specific type of moon, which is happening today. I don't know if you saw that one. There's some specific type of moon where the Lions are 9-1 in the last few seasons whenever that moon... Guess what? The Lions have been fucking very good over the past few years. Of course they're going to win more games naturally because they won 15 games a year ago.
What about the 10,000 simulations on the Green Bay Browns game?
That's like another story altogether. But the trends have gotten out of control because now people just throw them out there to add color to everything. But so many of them just don't matter. Like, if you can't come up with a hypothesis as to why something would even matter, then what is the point of saying it, right? What is the point? I don't understand. And the people that use this to handicap going forwards, good luck. Like, you are cooked. I'll tell you that right now. So it wasn't just that. It was a combination of things. It's the For You tab can be a blessing sometimes on Twitter. It can also be a curse when you just get fed stuff in the realm of football that makes you want to pull your hair out. So don't bet like that. And, there may be a video coming this week as well, which might further illustrate some bad betting habits here on Circles Off.
To finish off, we have a tribute. Rob, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, so I get pretty emotional with this stuff, so I'll try to keep this together. But Dave Sharapan passed away, SportsbkConsig, which was very much a surprise to me. Honestly, I had been chatting with him pretty frequently over the course of the past several months as well. And I first met Dave on a Bet Bash panel a few years ago. It was the infamous me, Sharapan, Benson, Fezzik, Ravel panel at Bet Bash. And I talked to Dave a lot that week. Extremely kind-hearted guy. Told me he'd been following me for years, really respected my honesty, the way I put myself out there. He reached out to me in November last year after I did an episode on this channel about the state of current sports betting, which I just kind of rambled on for about 40 minutes with just thoughts. And he reached out to me and he said it was the single best piece of content that he's ever seen. And a lot of it resonated with him. and we were chatting a lot over the past several months. I didn't know that his cancer had deteriorated to this point, so very much got caught off guard. But I was recently diagnosed with melanoma as well. He was one of the first people that reached out to me about it. So overall, just a great guy that I will miss, the community will miss. There's a GoFundMe for his family as well. And hate to end the show on such a somber note, but he deserves a lot of respect and earned a lot of respect from the community. So if you can support the family, please do so. I saw some big donations in there. Pat McAfee with like a $14,000 donation to the family, which is very impressive. Anyone who can do anything, he deserves the help. The family deserves the help. He was truly one of those people in the industry that nobody would say anything bad about. You will not find anyone that says anything bad about Dave Sharapan. So hope he rests in peace, and sucks losing good people in the industry. It's just a sad reality, unfortunately.
Anybody else? Geoff, you have something?
Like in a space with so many Credence and Mutants, he was truly like the top tier, one of the best guys, always happy, always in a good mood. Even if you didn't know him, you felt like you knew him because you did. That's how authentic he was. Even down to his like daily scripting of clothes, but just like a lovely man. It's just terribly unfair. It's terribly sad. May his memory be a blessing.
Yeah, and something that I'm going to use going forward, which I'm going to steal from him, is the hashtag nobody knows shit, which he used a lot, which I loved in sports betting. It was something that I used to say to my friends, and still do actually as well. But yeah, it's just life is short. Enjoy it while you can. Spend time with your family and friends, because it could, happen like that. But Dave's legacy will live on, and I read all the comments his wife and daughters posted from his account yesterday, which was tough to read, but I read all the comments underneath it and the quote tweets. And listen, like, people pass away. Generally, people are just going to say good things about them because that's just the way the world works. But with Dave, just one of the most genuine people around. And I didn't get to see him last time I was at Circa. I missed him. And he messaged me, like, we'll catch up next time. And unfortunately, that's just not going to happen. But great guy, and may he rest in peace. He did a lot for the community.
And if you do want to support, I have the link for the GoFundMe in the description. Thanks so much, everyone, for checking out Circle Back today.